So I think that we have to understand that we cannot interpret directly what is going on with children, because most of us, and me included, were educated as monolinguals. And these children are getting so many new experiences that make new connections in their brain, that they are completely different from monolingual children in Japan. That cannot be denied because of the connections that go in the brain. And I found a very nice quote from Kazuo Ishiguro, who I would love to meet, because he certainly understands the two societies, although he writes in English, because he feels his Japanese is not strong enough. And he came over as an oceanographer, and he worked in Hazelhurst, that area. And his assistant, I just putting this in out of interest, was also in Hazelhurst. And when his assistant's young daughter came back at the age of 6 to Japan, being completely English and in love with Paddington Bear, she had great difficulty because the Japanese was non-existent, because there was no bunko, and it could only be through the education of her parents. But anyway, we have to give children the language to talk about emotions. And most children cannot use emotions. And Mrs. Momota, who isn't here today, she lives quite some distance outside London apartment, anything else. She did some lovely work by making her own emoji cards. If you just take emoji faces off the internet, you can make simple cards that you can play with, teaching, telling children what the faces are doing, maybe with a mirror, so you can have fun making an angry face and a happy face and so on. And then you can use them for playing karuta, that you turn them up and you say you can guess what the language is. And then, but take it one step further and give them the base of an emoji and let them make their own faces. That's a good way to start talking to them about it. Oh, have you felt angry? What were you angry about? And you can begin to chat with them there. So I only start with 4 faces, because there's so many faces on the internet. Just 4 faces. They say that there are 6 basic emotions, but I just took 4 of them. I took happy, sad, angry, and frightened. And then I added one more, feel good. Because feel good is different from happy. And children often, of the age of 6, don't feel so good. Teeth changing, front teeth going, colds which go into ears. And do you feel good today? Oh no, I can't hear. And they have a chance to tell you what they feel like. So when you talk to them, please talk with them or to them. Not at them, because that's too instructive, and they're not going to talk if you just talk them, in that way that is really instructing them to do something. You have to be softer. And I think that you can, like that, is one of the ways to be able to tune in and chat about their identity and about their child's thoughts and feelings. Now, starting off a chat, and I call it chatting with them, and it's quite difficult to chat. Starting off, it said that communication by speech is composed of 50% body language, 10% what actually is spoken, and 40% in tone of voice. And I have spoken to you before about tone of voice. Please do use your tone of voice to help children. Anyway, young children from a very early age tune into and decode caring through understanding from the speakers, the tone of voice, the rhythm and the language that you use, and the facial language and gesture. Facial language and eye contact is very, very important. Chatting to young children is difficult for some adults. They're not very good at it. But I suggest to them that they start by chatting to somebody else's children, because maybe they have hang-ups that they can't get a chat going with their own child, but they can easily chat to somebody else's children. And I have written down a few suggestions I'll give you to take home about what to chat about. First of all, play a game along with the children, or do some colouring along with the children. Don't just put it down and wait for them to do it. Try. And when you're doing it, use self-talk. Now, I've also spoken before about self-talk. It's not, it's the sort of talking aloud where you say, I wonder if I should colour this, and this isn't quite the right colour for that. You're talking, and the children can understand that we have to make decisions and critically think as well. So use the self-talk that I've spoken about before, and ask the children as you do it, as if you're wondering, what do I do next? Can you tell me? What do you think of this? I don't think it's my turn if you're playing the game. I'm not very good at this, can you help me? Those sort of little things. So other things, talk about what you see. If you see somebody looks really sad, say, oh dear, I'm sorry, I think you're sad. What's the matter? Try and find out. It might be a problem at home, it might be some problem that arises. Talk about school and home life, and talk about being Japanese and the your extended Japanese family. Because one thing is, we want them to grow up being proud of being Japanese and proud of Japan. And the Olympic Games are coming, so there's a good chance to talk more about Japan. And after focused listening and discussing emotions, it's important to change a mood, because if somebody's sad, and you can't go on too long about being sad, you have to change a mood. And you can change a mood by being playful. Mothers of young children are very clever about that. If things aren't going well, they might put the hat on back to front and say, oh, what's happened to your hat? You've only to say, what's in my hand? Hiding something, or I've dropped my pen, can you see it anywhere? Just to change the mood and make a little game. But changing the mood is very important, and it's important for life. If we stick in a worry and a trouble all the time, and we can't get out of it, it's very painful for yourself and for people around you. But if you can help them to see that there is another world outside that problem that they've got, and you can change a mood like that. Double children at university that I re-met in Tokyo when I went, they told me that their best memory of childhood in England was going to bunko. Mothers tell me that their children are more relaxed in bunko than in Japanese school and in British school. So I think we have to realize what we are doing. We are providing for the children a caring atmosphere where they can move and circulate around whilst doing activities and talk to other children who are double like them. Maybe it's double in the fact that it's a mixed marriage, or it might be just double because they can speak two languages, although their family are mononational. But they can take turn talking to people, and staff are willing to listen to them and their identity. I see bunko communities and activities enable children to independently chat with other children and other adults in non-stressful, safe communities where they are respected and valued. We must respect these children. They are doing a fine job, and people don't realize it. How, when they grow up, they will have a lot to contribute somewhere because they have different skills from a monolingual. I think that I would like to say to you, every chat counts. Even if it's just, oh, hello, you've got a nice jumper today. I haven't got a jumper that colour. Let me see what colours they are. And that welcomes a child, makes him feel that he has a place in Bunko. When they go back, even at the end of Bunko, even if you say, oh, goodbye, see you next time, will you be wearing that jumper? Just something that makes them feel that you're wanting to see them next time, because you're welcoming them into a safe haven where they can feel sure that their identity is valued. By giving them this place in Bunko, we are helping them to manage how to self-regulate their emotions for life. And I think that, once again, I'd like to go back to Ishiguro to finish it off and say, it's one of his quotes that's up on Brainy Quotes in the internet. Many of our deepest motives come not from an adult logic of how things work in the world, but of something that is frozen from childhood. And you are giving them caring warmth and activities that enable to pick up language in Bunko. So you are helping to build up the foundations of what will be frozen inside them for life. So thank you, and thank you for listening to me. I think we have a lot to do, but we are in providing a very important place for children. So think about if you can do it twice a month rather than just once a month.